just gonna walk around in Furnish. That's where we stayed for about 5 weeks. It's a lovely, beautiful place, and we thought we'll show you just a few areas here. So in this one of the little Mirador, where you can see this beautiful area along the river, and that's the place where you can go for free and make your feet wet in thermal water. Usually it's not that busy. It's another free way where you can experience some thermal water. It's nice, it's actually pretty warm. So maybe we will pass this area and try this water together. It's a wonderful place. Let's go. There is a second big hotel here in Furnish. I don't know what's the name.
Octant.
Octant. And next to this hotel there's a beautiful park, and also the up with us. It's a hot springs as well. It's a hot water. It's like pretty hot. It's ouch. It's very hot. It's cold, hot, and very hot. Water comes from here as well. Municipal Ponassau. And that's another pretty park. That's where we would usually come for a walk every day. Nice, good walk for like 3.5 kilometers. Jardim de Alameda. These parks are very little. Nothing huge, but it's big enough to have nice walk around.
And they have lots of beautiful details, like these little water mills, or little waterfalls. It's like everything is just like, you know, details, lots of details everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like they have an army of gardeners, and it's not just the public places. Like when you go to the streets, all the gardens, all the houses.
It's true.
It's like every single house is like they are taking part in a gardening competition or something. It's really funny, but really beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, one of the things that stood out for me here in the island. It's just this, how do you say it? Like, it's not particular, it's like, what's the word? Sounds similar like particular. Anyway, this one.
Look, it's getting warm.
It is warm. It's a beautiful day today. And just like we saw in the Terra Nostra park before, like this lush greenness, this variety and mixture of palms and leaf trees and very old trees,
Yeah.
and moss everywhere. So this is the thing that I imagined, the most I imagined. Like that everything is like all the stone walls. They have lots of stone walls, these volcanic stones, and they're all overgrown with moss. So that's something I imagined. And I imagined lots of like free grass area. And I thought all the hikes would be on these like open grass areas and like would be pretty boring. So that was my imagination. But I'm sure there are those kind of hikes, we just didn't do them. But
And they're not boring actually.
what we found, and even those are what we saw, these free areas are not boring, because you have beautiful views over the coastline, which is because this island is so small, so narrow. You can stay in the middle and you can see like the north and the south coast in one go, which is pretty special.
I mean, I imagined that this island is gonna be super lush and green, but it is exceeded my expectations or my imagination. That is even more. It's hard to show this through the video. Although we've watched other videos and it was like, wow, it's really green, but this is really green. That really impressed me a lot.
I remember this one hike where we went down to this lake. I think the Lagoa de Fogo, where was this beach, And when we went through this forest, there were like trees with moss where the water was dripping, and it was like even jelly a little bit. You know, I've never seen moss like this. Like never. I knew that like if it's wet, there might be moss, or there is moss, and it's just lush and green and just dropping everywhere. But like a moss that is so wet that it's like a sponge, a jelly sponge which can't
That
take
really
anymore.
impressed you. You keep talking about it.
I just can't forget about this. It's just
True.
that was so special, really special. So what
Yeah.
else stood out for you?
I mean, in terms of the lush greenness, it's unbelievable how green it is. What else? I mean, I ticked a lot of wish list boxes here. So for me,
One was tea, right?
tea plantation was something absolutely unique and very special for me. What else? I mean, this pool, which I already mentioned. I already mentioned about that.
The yellow
Yeah,
thermal pool.
Yeah, food-wise, what impressed me is fish soups. They have really
Oh, wow.
good fish soups. I mean, I love soups generally, but fish soup is another level. I don't know. We had a special place where we had a proper soup. It was a soup, fish stew. It was absolutely amazing. A very like local place, and they specialized in a few dishes only. And it was. I think I will remember the soup forever. And then we saw another place which was just simple corner. We didn't even know that we're gonna get there. We just thought, oh, they have a fish soup. It was Fish 11 or something.
Yeah, it's in Ponta Delgada, in a side street, very hidden, like a very small, simple place called Fish 11.
And it was so delicious. And it was like €1.65 or something.
Really affordable, and we had that once for lunch, and we were full the rest of the day, which was amazing.
I mean, basically, it's amazing.
That was.
And on the other hand, there's a fish stew or fish soups. Like fish stew was about 17 euros. So the prices, I have to say,
Pretty expensive.
it's on one side is pretty expensive. On the other side, you think, oh wow, soup is just 1.65, and it was delicious and nutritious and very filling, and it was, yeah. But overall, I would say, price-wise, we think for us it's more
It's on the pricier side.
on the
So
pricier side, yes.
either that's because we're coming now into the season and they start to change prices. I don't know. We came here basically in the shoulder season, like before the main season. So, but the food, accommodations, and pretty everything is, compared to other places we went before in Portugal, quite pricey. Yeah.
And lots of places like parks where you would need to pay. And I remember when we were in Madeira and we would have some comments from some people or asking about hikes we did, and they say, oh, is this free or you have to pay for that? And I remember we looked at each other like,
Why would you pay for the
It's
hike?
like, oh,
It's like
everything
open,
is
eh?
free. Like we were surprised to hear that some people would think that it costs some money, but now we understand, because there are many places here where you need to pay some money to go and have a hike. So that was surprising. Like that was surprising. We didn't expect. We didn't know much. We didn't do much research. We even, when we booked this place, we thought we have this beautiful park which we're gonna
Yeah.
go every day, and oops, it's 10 euros.
I understand kind of the parks. It's like this Terra Nostra park. I understand. It's kind of like a closed thing. It's like somehow connected to this hotel, and it's maintained very beautifully. So it's not like a wild kind of forest where you hike. So I understand that there might be an entrance fee, although the 10 euros per person might be expensive.
Yeah.
Especially that they only open for 6 hours a day. But then there are other things like real hikes where you go like next to the lake here next to Furnas. So there is one area where there's 3 waterfalls. We showed this I think last time when we visited this cocido cooking areas. So, and we thought we just hike to that waterfall, right? And then there sits a guy and says, no, this is private property. I have 3 waterfalls.
He was so proud of
He
us.
was really cool. He was like very proud, sitting in this wooden like shed and say, I have 3 waterfalls and it's a private area. You need to pay like, what was it? Like
10 euro per
10
person.
euros per person again. So, and the ladies at the entrance where we paid for parking, which you also really don't need because you could park like outside. So again, not necessary. But this lady told us, yeah, this is for this parking in the park. And this guy said, no, park is private. You pay extra. So that was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah. It was.
And somehow I don't really understand this like hiking things being private property, and
At least we do not understand that. Coming from, I don't know,
Yeah.
Europe experienced hike, well, Portugal, we have not really hiked anywhere else except Portugal. So
we only heard that from in the US from these
Yeah.
national parks where you
People have
pay
to pay.
entrance and they're owned by the whatever, like a public land, but kind of managed and
anyway,
restricted area. or
interesting.
something.
Let us know in the comment what you think. It's very interesting to know. On one side, it's like it makes totally sense to charge for this. On the other hand, you think, you know, nature everywhere, and why certain areas are specifically you have to pay, and then if you have to pay, is 10 euro really, you know, a price to pay for it, you know? So it's like we also don't know what's the right thing. There's
I'm
no
not
right
saying
things.
I'm not saying that it's wrong.
So,
It was just for us, it was something new
yeah.
because we never experienced it before, and for us it was like, okay, if it's a forest, if it's a hike, then this is kind of accessible for everyone and it's free. So that was our experience. So I'm not saying that it's not worth it or it
No,
shouldn't be. Like if it's private land, they have like all the rights to do that, of course. And the parks obviously take lots of maintenance to make them and to like keep them in this condition. So that costs money. So we fully understand that. It was just something new. So, but besides that, what else? I mean, food-wise, we touched on this before.
I mean,
Food was always.
I mentioned fish soup, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, food is most of the time was very good.
I think we only had one time where we went to a restaurant which we found on Google Maps, which I read the reviews and they were pretty good. But when we came there, it was not what we expected. But all the other places, I have to say, were all really, really good. From the self-serve buffet on the East Coast to the restaurant in Ponta Delgada, which is, I think, both our favorite.
That was
is
I mean, despite the local food, not counting the local food, this restaurant,
Yeah.
I will remember.
Yeah, so it's Louvre Michel,
It was nice.
and it's just, we went there twice and we were both times like blown away by the food, by the atmosphere. It's like an old, it was an old French hat store, I think, in the like long time ago. I forgot like how long ago. And
Anyway.
they just refurbished that to grocery store, and then now it's a bar, bistro, and restaurant, and it's just amazing. And it's in the old town, so really good location.
I'm sure there are even more restaurants to
No, there are
to
plenty.
eat and explore, but that was the highlight for us. And of course, this fish stew was like
Yeah.
another level. Fish restaurant we had.
The first time when we arrived, we went to the south coast. There was this fish restaurant,
yeah.
which
Yes,
apparently
fish
is the best one on the island, which I just found out afterwards. Our Airbnb host told us, and we thought, I remember this name. And I checked it, and that was the first one we went on the first day.
Basically, all of this restaurant we mentioned in some of our previous videos. So if you haven't seen our previous videos from Azores, there will be some links, and I mean maybe you can go to our
Azores playlist.
Azores playlist and check the videos there. So we have a really good time.
It felt short.
It is so short. We wanted to stay here for longer, but unfortunately, we cannot. That was a bit late. Plan your trip now in advance because now...
Let's talk about this more, but first let's show you this area a little bit more. It's really interesting. Then we'll come back to this planning topic, which is something we have to really learn for ourselves. But first, let's see the park.
And by the way, this is Ginkgo biloba. That's the tree where we saw the ginkgo alley. And this is the tree that's like basically a whole free park again with this ginkgo biloba tree. And it's very beautiful, fresh and green. They're young trees, you can see, compared to the other one they're much younger. But here you go. What's that?
A waterfall, kind of step waterfall thingy.
Step waterfall thingy.
Which is part of this park.
It's part of it. It is a pretty park, Mashat, I have to say. It's a very nice park.
Yes. Garden. I think it's Jardim is garden, right?
Jardim, it's a garden, not a park. Sorry. Fresh air with a gorgeous view.
Alternatively, you could just go for a hike.
Or I just go for a walk. I mean, there's plenty of place to walk, but mountains are around everywhere and they're so lush green, like full of forests. Oh, I don't know, I can't find the rhythm here. We've never seen anyone doing
exercising here, actually.
Yes. Woo, 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 woo. I feel like weights missing, like
it's too light, right?
Too light, yeah. Clean air.
You definitely look good on this thing.
Oxygenate your lungs and body with a good oxygen. We have a few hours left. Let's go.
Okay, so the topic that came up while we were here is...
It's not just topic, it was a challenge.
Oh yeah.
A proper challenge which was really tiring. I thought we will share that while we are not far from it, because then we forget about it, because there are so many nice things happening along our journey that those uncomfortable things just fade away somehow.
And somehow we never share them.
It's a bit more difficult to share about them while being there, I think. So we will try.
Until now we always shared single kind of explorations, right? Like we're going out on a hike or we're going to a specific place and we basically just capture our experience. But there's obviously more, because we only go out on the weekends and during the week we're working. I'm working remotely for an agency in the UK. Lauza is studying full-time now for the next 3 years. So, and this kind of creates a situation during the week which requires focus and an environment where we can do that, I guess.
I mean, you always required focus time.
But I also would like to travel more and to move more. But at the same time, I recognize that in order to be able to do our work, we can't move very fast or very often. And if we move to a place, we can't just move to any place. Like if you kind of travel full time and you just hop between places, it doesn't really matter very much the place, because you more or less just sleep there. But for us it's like we live there. It's our home for the time, right? And we work there, we cook there, and we spend most of the time there, like not going out. We spend more time at home than going out. So
the atmosphere and home is very important to us. That's what we recognize over these years. So that if we book any place and we don't feel comfortable there and enjoy this place, the whole experience is very different. So we notice that it has an impact on us. So that when we search for a flat, we really pay close attention that it is very comfortable, that we feel like a really home, because we don't have a home to go back to, right? So the place we book, it has to feel like home.
But that's not yet the challenge. This is just what we identified as being important for us.
Exactly.
So what is the challenge is that we started to travel when the pandemic started.
Yes.
And at that time, it was super easy to find a place. Everyone was happy to host you for very long, and it was very affordable, obviously. But this time now feels like is coming to an end.
Ending.
And people are traveling again, and it looks like in some places more than before, obviously, because people were sitting at home for 2 years. So everyone is keen to getting out, which is absolutely understandable. But at the same time, it changes our process of finding a new place. And in the past we didn't really spend much time on that. We were just searching an area and say, this looks nice, and let's go there. Now, with that requirement that we want to stay longer in a place, like at least 3 months, like 3 to 6 months ideally in one place, this is really, really hard.
Yep.
And
especially over the season time, when it's a summer and everyone wants to go, obviously, summer holidays, kids holidays. So that definitely has even more impact. Plus, prices are increasing for peak time. It's just incredible how for the same place you pay like almost double or triple price. It's just because it's a season.
So, and it came up while we were here because we only booked for 1 week in Ponta Delgada and then 6 weeks here in Furnas. And we thought, okay, this is plenty of time to actually find some other places on other islands and just stay on the Azores for a couple of months. That was our original plan.
Yep.
But it turned out that we couldn't even find something like for more than a week. And we can't move every week. This is currently just not feasible with our kind of work. So yeah, that's why we have to cut this visit short and unfortunately leave.
Because we were looking for places even on other islands here in Azores, because it would be pity just to leave now. And it was even harder to find a place in other islands. Looks like São Miguel has
the most kind of available accommodations.
Yeah, more choice and quantity as well. So it didn't work, and one of our landlords, the lady, she was helping us. She even found one. We were like so excited. We knew that that's it. We're staying here, so happy.
We were so close to having an apartment in Ponta Delgada for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I think it was 1 week before we would arrange all the details, she called us and told us that the owner needed this flat for their family. There was some emergency.
Anyway.
So that unfortunately didn't work out. We were really, really excited because there's so much more to explore on this island and all the other islands. But yeah, looks like not this time. So we continue to search everywhere. Like
we search pretty much. Like I remember those days when we would just open the full map and we were like, where do we want to go? Literally, we were like, how cool is that we can now say, like, pick some like place and say, let's go there. Most of the places, of course, there where we don't need visa, or if we need, it's like it's easy to get.
We checked a couple of countries in terms of visa requirements. Where can we stay longer than like a month or two, like at least 3 months, which limits the choice obviously without applying for a visa and all that stuff. and we were very close to actually going very far east.
Yeah.
But
That was very fun. That was very fun. Michael wanted to go. I was like, no, let's stay in Europe somewhere. But even Europe, like Greece, Italy, and all these places, it was just, it was not coming up. It's just not what we need. Like we liked, and
I think the thing is why you wanted to stay close by is she has an exam end of August, like the first semester, the big exam, and we can't really go out much to explore, nor go in areas that are very unknown, and we kind of need to get used to where can we get what. So we need something that is familiar for these 3 months, and after that we will go probably outside Europe.
yes, definitely.
As at least it looks
Definitely.
at the moment like this.
Yes, we have plans to go down south. Yes, and then we didn't know where to go. We would of course love to go to Madeira, back to Madeira, because it's we love Madeira. This is like we feel home there, and we just couldn't find anything in Madeira either. It was like just nothing. And then like a few days ago we were like, okay, let's just check last time the places in Madeira. And then Michael found one place that literally came out on the listing. Like
it was a very new listing.
New listing.
It just appeared the day or a few days like before I was searching.
And the price was okay-ish, and the place looked nice, so it's very interesting. I'm excited to try, and it's nice to be back, of course, to Madeira. It's summer that time there. It's many things are familiar, so it's good for this
so it will be a good thing for our needs during these next 3 months.
That's right.
And our big learning now is that we have to plan ahead like far more. Like we can't just say now for next month we need an accommodation.
Well, we booked our accommodation for 4 months for the next year in summer.
Oh yeah, we did. But after the 3 months until summer next year, this space we have to plan out now.
Yeah.
And mostly of them we have to book and confirm now, because it's just really difficult.
It is
no matter what will come, if the situation with COVID gets better or worse, which I don't know, it's hard to say, but we have definitely to learn to plan better.
It was very frustrating. It was like
very stressful.
Stressful, my goodness.
Took us both off like our focused work, because it caused so much stress to not knowing where to go, especially when our landlord here on São Miguel called us and say, "I'm so sorry, but I can't give you this flat for the next 3 months." That was like, OMG.
Yeah, it was difficult. So there is like challenge, but on the other hand is like opportunity, just incredible. So anyway,
yeah, just wanted to share that, I guess, because there is always a story behind everything that happens, right? And if we go to a place or we leave early, then there's always a good reason. And we just wanted to kind of talk about that, so because we never do, and we get these questions in the comments, and then people say, "You didn't like this place, you left early," and that's not true. We love the place and we would like to stay longer, but you know,
there are certain circumstances. It could be either flat or kind of other family situation or work situation, or it's
but we are very grateful that we have the freedom to choose where to live and where to go. Even it's a challenge to kind of find that, but it's probably on us to get better at doing this ahead of time.
Absolutely.
But I think when we looked at this map, like you said, it was just like this aha moment of we could go anywhere right now and it would be okay.
It's a special moment.
It's really special. So, and we worked many years to get to this point, and we're really grateful. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and not boring for us to talk about all our challenges and also what we liked and what we kind of remember from here from São Miguel.
Yes. Because sometimes in the end of the trip we just get so busy we don't have time to just sit.
Yeah,
and
we never do that.
we don't take time for that. So.
We always wanted to do that, but we never do it. So yeah, here you go, first time. Should do this more often.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah.
See you probably next time when we fly to Madeira.
Madeira, here we come again.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. It's hot. Ouch. It's hot. Less, but still hot.
Maybe it's just on the other side when it goes down. On here.
But it's
It should be a mixture of
yeah, actually, and close the water from those bubbles. This is hot, and this is just comfortable. And a bit cool, actually. More cooler.
alright.
Okay, well, this is really hot, but why not? You should definitely try. But it's nice. Wow, it's nice and a bit of cool.